Hi, folks. It's me, Jason Moore with MTGOacademy.com, and I'd like to welcome you to the latest installment of Dime. Dozen, 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 dozen. We are once again playing Mono Blue Delver in a Pauper daily event. We took a dive last time, and this time I'm resolving that I want my daggone redemption. I want to prove that this deck is the bee's knees. So that's what we're going to try and do. I've made some changes. I think since the last installment, I'm not sure if we were running 17 lands. For a very, very long time, I played this deck with 16 lands. And for the most part, it's not too big of a problem because of all the one mana cantrips that we have, the free spells that we have, and the overall low mana curve. However, I was finding that in the majority, or in at least a number of games that I was losing, I felt really constrained on mana during that early mid game kind of stage where all I needed was just to be able to play my spells at a comparable rate to my opponent in order to swing those games. So we're upping the land count. Unfortunately, I did have to cut one of our Gataxian probes. Just scouring the entire deck. I really wanted to keep in Bone Splitter. I wanted to keep in 2 Piracy Charm. I wanted to maintain the integrity of threats. And Treasure Cruise is such a house that I didn't really want to cut that either. So Gataxian Probe had to go for that 17th land, and I've also made some changes to the sideboard. If you've never seen this deck before, you're probably new to the format. So this is called Mono Blue Delver. It's an aggro control strategy that plays a tempo game. So it wants to have a strong board position and utilize different things like counter spells and bounce spells to get the opponent off kilter, off balance, long enough for us to win the game. We've got several card advantage options, we've got several permission options, but the main threats are the turn 1 Delver of Secrets. It's one of the best turn 1 plays in the format. And when we follow that up by playing Cloud of Fairies, which is a free threat that sets up Spell Stutter Sprite to allow us to counter the opponent's creatures, defensive spells, whatever they're trying to do. So we flash things in on the end of their turn, and then we can bounce some of our creatures back to our hand using this ninja here, which draws us cards every time it hits the opponent. So it's really easy to get the opponent on the defensive because they don't want to give us free cards. Later on, we get to cast this guy, which is a free, huge ass flying guy that a lot of people can't attack into, and is just a pretty resilient threat. Obviously, it gets 1-for-1 fairly easily, but it's really nice in terms of its mana efficiency. We bolster all of our threats with Bone Splitter, and we also can use Piracy Charm here as either a removal spell or a pump spell, and sometimes we use it as a discard spell as well. So as a 1 mana way to take out the opposing Delvers and other problematic small creatures, I'm pretty happy with that card. In terms of our other tempo effects, we have these copies of Snap, which can bounce an opponent's creature or it can bounce our own Spell Stutter Sprite, so it acts as a virtual extra counter spell for us because this is a free spell as well. The other counters, obviously, 4 counter spell, which is going to be our best bet in mono blue, and then Deprive, which is close to a counter spell. Certainly in the late game, there isn't much of a difference, but we're playing just one because early on in the game, we don't want to hit our own tempo too hard. The Gataxian Probe gives us plenty of information. It gives us perfect information, and that allows us to sculpt the next several turns and figure out what we need to counter, what we need to defend against, what we need to attack into, and basically helping us go the distance against all of the attrition decks is Treasure Cruise, which just lets us refill, get a bunch of threats, get some more counter spells, and continue just doing what this deck does. Now, the sideboard in retrospect, I have already played the daily event, so obviously not going to spoil anything for you. But in retrospect, I think that 2 copies of Relic of Progenitus is too many. In most of the matchups where I boarded in, there's not enough room to bring in 2. And there's not enough dedicated graveyard strategies to make 2 really necessary. I was kind of scrambling to put together, to figure out the last few slots, because I don't remember what I cut before. I think I definitely added a third Geist because Geist is one of our best sideboard cards, and there's so many variations on a Delver Mirror and control matches that we want this card against both of those. So having 3 makes sense to me. It's a reason that we win a lot of those games. Curse of Chains is another great card, but anyway, going back to the Relic, I think I cut a Dispel because I was never boarding in 2. Again, the amount of cards I actually board out is fairly small because the card quality we already have is there. Normally we're cutting maybe a Snap, possibly the Probe. In some matches we will cut either Piracy Charm or Bone Splitter. And maybe against aggressive decks I can see cutting Deprive. But we never board out enough to warrant more than 1 Dispel coming in. So I cut one of those for a Geist, and I can't remember what I cut for the Relic. But I think this is wrong. I would only play 1 Relic in the board. And then we also have 3 Echoing Truth, which might be too much because it's mainly in here for the tokens matchup. And I think that deck's 5% or less of the winning metagame. This can come in against other stuff too. There's other decks that run tokens. There's goblins and elves and stuff like that. And then this can also hit problematic enchantments, anything that hit the table that we wanted to counter but didn't get a chance to. So Tortured Existence, various auras in the hexproof deck, I could see doing that. We don't have a lot. We don't really have anything against hexproof. So that's a matchup we're kind of conceding to automatically in a sense. Probably talked way too much about this deck already, but I hope you guys will enjoy the matches. I think they're pretty interesting, and hopefully we will achieve our quest for redemption here at MTGO Academy on Dime a dozen. Hi folks, we've finally won a die roll, but our hand of 7 cards is not acceptable. We're going to go ahead and mulligan, and we're going to keep this hand. 3 lands, a preordain, some permission. So, yeah, definitely keeping. The opponent has mulligan to 6. We're not sure what they're playing. I think it's actually okay to turn 1 preordain away some of our lands. We can find a Spire Golem's fine. Actually, both of these cards are fine for now. A threat and another dig spell seems really great. So let's wish the opponent good luck. And it's a blue mirror of some sort. We see a preordain. Next turn we're just going to pass on 2 mana and see what that does for us. Turn 3, we're probably casting Preordain with some stuff. So we bottom tops. Probably casting Preordain with some stuff open, so no big deal. See what happens now. And hopefully the audio is going okay because I'm testing out, well, not really testing out, but I am using this newer microphone setup. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this Spellstutter sprite out here. So we have things we want to do. If he wants to counter that, that's actually fine. It looks like a mono blue mirror. So this at least starts the train going. And is he going to throw something at the sprite? No. So first I will attack. It's going to get out of the way of any type of Spellstutter sprite to follow. I may just leave that Preordain where it is, because then he gets a Spellstutter sprite with added value. So I think I'm actually going to pass, get some more information on what he's doing before I just throw that out. Alright, so he may be blue-black. Nope, he's just fairies with mental note. So it looks like he's going to be going for a treasure cruise. He did throw away a Cloud of Fey and a Spellstutter sprite. So there's a Cloud of Fae. We could opt to counter this, but we're not sure if he has another land. It's possible he has a land. And so if we counter the Cloud of Fae, he just plays a land and he can counter our next play. I'm going to fight over this. He's probably countering it with some value. But we do get a Spell Stutter Sprite. Or sorry, we do get a Spire Golem out of the exchange. Yep, so that's going to work. A Piracy Charm in hand would have been very nice. So he's at 6 cards. And this is pretty nice for us. I think we'll start with Preordain, though. Maybe we start with Cloud of Fae. No, it's okay. A Ninja. We're going to eventually get that because of Spire Golem. So I think I'll keep it. And now I'll just play Cloud of Fae and play Spire Golem. Now he could easily have a Spire Golem of his own, but for now I think we're going to do it like this. We're not going to sacrifice our board. So we see he's got all this cheap manipulation that is it's gonna help him filter a lot of things, but in a sense it does dilute his deck a little bit because instead of just having a pure business spell, he's got other stuff. Now this is a little sketchy, but we do get to make this Spire Golem play, so I'm a little bit happy about that. The double Delver could be a problem. This seems perfectly reasonable. We have a Ponder. I think we're probably going to set that up. And there's a Piracy Charm we could use right now, which is nice. Bone Splitter is also incredibly good. I think we can kill one of these Delvers off. So let's get the Counterspell next. We'll get the Piracy Charm now. I want the Spire Golem to survive a daze. Looks like he's F6'd, but we would still make this play anyway. Okay. So I think that's fairly good for us. This gives him fewer options for what he can block Ninja with, but we see that he has a Thought Scour. He's gone through 12 more cards than we have through his deck, but part of that is via mill. Okay. So he wants to fight that. I think we'll be able to save it. I'll block Spell Stutter Sprite. And he's probably going to Ninja me because he's not interested in blocking the Ninja. Sure. So he rebought the Cloud of Fae. If he has an island, he can play it. But we can fight. There's the Thought Scour, targeting himself. There's a Treasure Cruise down the drain. So that's good. So we'll begin just with the attack. We know we're going to get the Bone Splitter. So maybe I leave this back. That seems fine. And we'll put it on Spell Stutter Sprite. And we have a counter. He's been missing lands, so it's been pretty good for us. Brainstorm will resolve. He's got 9 cards in hand. It's going down to 7, obviously, but no worries. We want to, even a Spire Golem we can kind of deal with. We're not going to just straight up let it resolve. We will fight over it, but we'll see what he does. If he goes for a Snap, goes for a Cloud of Fae, that's okay. That's alright. He can gang block the Golem. I could just send in Spell Stutter Sprite. We'll have to see what we draw, really. He has 5 cards to 0, so that's disconcerting. Alright, so he's ready to be defensive. I have a Delver coming up. So I don't want to just throw my Spire Golem into Oblivion. I think I might actually just hold here. we can start getting violent with Delver. We can also offer to trade Ninja for Ninja. I don't see a point there. I think our board is superior. So if I just play Delver, he may sprite that. We'll see what he does. He's really tanking, but I mean, he's got the cards in hand, and he's kind of stopped us on the board. If he, for some reason, attacks us with everything, I think I'll let the Delver through, kill the Ninja with Golem. Maybe I let the fairies through, trade the sprite for. Okay, he's got a lot of manipulation that I'm not sure we can really afford to counter, but we'll have to see. We haven't seen a single treasure cruise yet. And once we do find it, we're going to have to fight over it, which is going to be really interesting. It doesn't seem like, I mean, he has some manipulation to get those brainstorm cards away. Like he could use Thought Scour, but. And Mental Note. There goes a Spire Golem. So he's kind of. Alright, so. Do we fight over this? I don't think so. We can get offensive with Spire Golem. Let's see what we draw. Don't want to reveal that, but we can fight some counter war. So if he double blocks here, we could trade Golem for Golem. We can also just wait. We can also just suit up the Golem, and that keeps his Golem from attacking. I think that's fine. So we'll just pass now. Okay, I'm going to sprite that. Am I? I go to 14, then he has a pretty big air attack. Yeah, I think we'll sprite it. Trying to maintain our board position. He wants to sprite my sprite. He has 2 cards left, so I guess we're just going to fight over this. It's not the best, but... a lot of manipulation. He's gone through 20 more cards than we have. That's pretty insane. I don't know what to say about that. I haven't played this version of the mirror match. I played other versions where the decks are a little more comparable, but he has so many 1-mana cantrips. It's pretty ridiculous. Okay, here comes Treasure Cruise. But our board position looks good to me. So we'll see what he can do with his last 2 mana. You know, snap is worst case scenario, I guess. Alright, he's not doing anything. Will we flip? No, don't want to reveal though. I don't want to hard cast this either. Spire Golem's our only thing that can really get offensive. I guess we could suit up Ninja and attack. It's probably just going to go Ninja for Ninja. And then suit up again. We could also attack with this, but then he's going to double block. Golem trades for Golem. I think we send Ninja. It's not completely necessary, but... this way, he doesn't have the incentive of blocking with Golem. Yep, that's fine. So now we just equip the Golem again. And what is this? Thought Scour. Who's he targeting? Me? Targeting me. Interesting. Ooh, we got a Treasure Cruise and a counterspell. Despicable. Ooh, okay. Well, that's not so nice. I think I have to block a Cloud of Fae. Well, we'll see what he's doing here. He's getting real aggressive. Maybe we double block that Delver. We have an opportunity now to get our Ninja back, or to get our Sprite back. So I don't actually think we block anything. I think we just take this huge hit of 6. I know that sounds crazy, but we have to fight to get our Golem. And we need the Sprite to be able to counter his counter. Yeah, we want to reveal that. So we have 5 mana. I think we have to just send one Spell Stutter Sprite. Not sure we can we can make the Golem resolve, but we'll see. Okay, we do find a land, so that helps a little bit. He knows our entire hand, though. But this at least makes it free, so that we can equip if it does resolve. Alright, we're going to fight. We have a charm to take out a Spell Stutter Sprite. Ooh. Okay, he has 2 cards in hand. I can at least equip my Delver to kill his Golem. We're at 8. And we have a charm. We can also charm up this guy while we block with Sprite if we want. That's a 2-for-1, but he's just seen so many cards. Constantly has card advantage over us. What's he gonna do? Just sending that. I'm fine taking 3. Okay. Now I can charm his Delver, ostensibly. Sure. Let's untap before we do anything. We have a Gataxian Probe. That seems pretty relevant. We'll cast it for blue. And we need to get a little thingy here so that we can write it down. Da-da-da. There we go. Oops. Let's see what he's got. Wow. 2 counter spells and a Thought Scour. That's going to be deadly. So let's see if he lets this go. His hand is just... Wow, so he's actually letting us kill his Delver. That's pretty ballsy. So I can equip this and attack, but then we're just blind. No. Then we're just getting ate up by his ninja, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna play defensively. We have 6 life. The boards are equal. He found another Delver. He has Counterspell and Thought Scour. So does he attack here with Golem? No, he chooses not to. I think I'm gonna hold that, and we're not going to attack. We might take a big hit next turn if that Delver flips. He can also Thought Scour if he doesn't like the card, which is interesting. But I don't think he's gonna Thought Scour us or himself. Didn't flip, so maybe it's a creature. We've only seen the second Golem, right? Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, we know he has a counter spell. I guess we'll play a land here. This game is not looking too great for us. That Delver's bound to flip. Maybe we equip the Sprite and so we let his Golem get in if he decides to attack. Targeting himself. Ninja goes and an island goes. He has 8 cards. 6th land. So we know he has Counterspell, 2 unknowns. And that's interesting, but I want to cycle that. And we can't throw that away. Not at the moment. So I actually think I equipped Spell Stutter Sprite. I think that's correct. But then he gets a free hit with Golem, so maybe that's incorrect. His 8 cards left in his library. His last counter spell is in hand. How many Spell Stutter Sprites does he have? He has 1, 2, 3. So there's 1 more left in his deck, unless I misread that. How many Delvers left? Maybe 1 more. Okay, here's a Delver, so we're going to try it. He just lets me have it. So we'll just pass. We know there's a counterspell left. This is going to be a close game. He continues not to flip. I think he might be a little flooded. Hard to say. So now I have the luxury of... Oh, no, I don't. If I had a land... Or, sorry, if I flipped, I would have the luxury of attacking with that Delver. Right now, we're just trying to wait him out, I guess. He's bound to flip, though. Treasure Cruise. Oh, that's so disgusting. But he's not going to use it, because... Oh, he is. He's actually putting himself down to 2 cards. Very interesting. Okay. Wow. So what's going to happen here? Okay, so we definitely just kill both of these, right? And we hope that our ninja flips. Or a Delver flips. That seems correct. This is really close. Give me something. That's a good one. So, do we go for the snap or do we go for the... Oh, you know what? I can protect my treasure cruise. No, I can't. Because we only have 1 fairy, so I can't snap my guy. So, I think we want to go for the snap first. And we'll do it on the Delver. No, he's going to try and counter it, or he's going to succeed in countering it. No! Oh my goodness. I don't think we can live, can we? We can go to 1. Alright, we can go to 1. And so we're chumping the Delver, and we have to treasure cruise into multiple things. So we have to draw a business spell. He's going to get me with 0 cards in hand. Oh, okay, that's game. Never mind. Well, I guess we'll let it happen. Maybe he messes up. Yep, that's game. Alright, so that was really painful. So let's see some of the things we may be interested in cutting. Actually, Relic, I think, hurts his deck a little more than one might initially assume. He's got more bounce than we're used to. I don't like boarding out of all my snaps. I like having like 2. But I don't really see what else we would want to cut. I mean, Dispel could be useful, and Relic could be useful, and Ninja could be useful on the play, but it's just a matter of cutting things is not so easy. We could attempt to cut some number of these. I've never really done that. I think we just want to overwhelm him on the board. Relics, I guess we're kind of you can't reliably stop them from treasure cruising. So Relic is something that, yeah, we can keep this because we have so many preordains. Relic is something that's not too efficient. He has so many ways of discarding. He goes down to 5, so that's good. We might be able to kill him with his hand very quickly. That doesn't usually happen in the Delver mirrors, but his version of Delver is... It's not dirtily, but it's just really interesting that it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't affect the board as regularly. So here comes Preordain. Sure. And we want 1. I don't know that we want 2. We have another Preordain we're going to cast. We have another Delver and a Spellstutter Sprite, which may not resolve here. So we can at least flash in the Spellstutter Sprite. That's good. It's possible we want that 3rd land because of Spire Golem, but we have 2 other... Okay, yeah, so this is good. We'll resolve our Cloud of Fey. Oh, we're going to resolve everything. And he missed a land, so we're just going to flood the board right here. And he's so far behind, this might be a very quick win for us. Seems like he's really skimping on lands from what I can tell. He does get a treasure cruise here, which is nice, but we wouldn't have been able to cast that anyway, or counter that anyway. So he concedes, he didn't even do it. He didn't even cast it. Yeah, alright. So we didn't really get any new information. We see that he's still playing Cloud of Fae, Spire Golem. Going to be on the draw, so some of these are a little less good. I mean, Deprive will help in the late game. I expect the game to go pretty late. Piracy Charm will hopefully kill a Delver early. Bone Splitter gives us some leeway. So let's hope that he gets in a situation like that all over again. This hand's very slow, but I think it's worth keeping. We can find some turn 2 plays off of this Ponder. It's possible, well, never mind. It's possible that he wasn't going to have that early aggression. So we have Snap, Snap, and lands, and I think this is actually keepable, believe it or not. But we want the Snap within the next 2 draws, so I'll put it in the middle. The reason it's keepable is because most of our hand wants us to have lands. And the Snap is possibly going to buy us some time. So, like, if he preordains here, no, he's not going to. So this is going to be a little rough. We can throw out a Snap EOT. Oh, he's just going to Ninja. Right, so he actually loses both. Doesn't lose both, but we definitely want to just snap that now. It builds up count for our arrows. It completely demolishes his board. There's a chance we even fight over the Delver because we can just throw Spire Golem down. That seems really smart. Not really smart, but it seems fairly smart. Yep, I'll just go for the counterspell. And he let that go. Now he's going to preordain. So now we get the Spire Golem. And now we might be able to just go over the top. He kept 1 card. So I'm just going to throw this. It's a chance he has a null. There's a chance he has Force Spike. But it seems like a good opportunity to try and resolve that. So yeah, I figured he'd just do one of those numbers. Probably going to Treasure Cruise very soon. Might throw his own Golem out there. In which case, if he taps out, I'll play arrows. If he doesn't, I'm going to leave up Deprive. I think. Yeah. 3 mana for like a Stormbound Geist, which we cannot arrows. That would be a huge blunder. It looks like he's going to tap out for... He was thinking of tapping out for either Ninja or Treasure Cruise, and he decided he wants to Brainstorm to lower the Delve count. But that could backfire because Brainstorm could put 2 cards on the top that he really doesn't want to draw with Treasure Cruise. Now, so, you know, maybe he's got another mental note. Or maybe he has no creatures and he was thinking of just slamming Ninja, which also is possible. 1 mana, Treasure Cruise, Thought Scour. Now he's going to Treasure Cruise. So Ninja's gone. That might have been the one in his hand. He could have manipulated it with Brainstorm. Alright, so we're looking okay here. We can get a Serrated Arrows down. Yeah, kill that Delver. Pretty sweet. Let's make sure that's going to work. Cool. He's got 7 cards though, so, you know, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. We're going to untap with a Deprive. So, I mean, I don't know how that's going to feel, but I don't think he can deal with a resolved arrows, so that's nice. Like, again, he's spending a lot of manipulation. This looks like Cloud of Fae. Nope. I don't know what it is. Our clocks are now kind of equalizing. There's a Stormbound Geist. So we can't use the arrows on that Geist. We could Treasure Cruise for 5 here. Seems like it's probably better to leave up Deprive and Sprite though, right? I think so. We're not attacking into this. Maybe we just Treasure Cruise. I think we'll wait. Because once we fight off some stuff, we can Treasure Cruise for less. And we're not attacking. We're not casting arrows on the Geist ever, because that resets it. I can counter this. So I might as well get a little bit of value out of the Sprite. make him work for it. Then if we draw a ninja after he attacks with Stormbound Geist, we can fight. Where are his golems? Cloud of Fae is going to resolve. We can kill it if we want. If he just sits on D, that's also okay. I should turn. I hit F4, but I don't want to F4 because we might use this arrows. Another 2 mana. Treasure Cruise incoming. Oh, cycle. Treasure Cruise incoming. So I'll fight over it. That's okay. Because we have our own Treasure Cruise on the way. If he casts Spell Stutter, I'll ping it. Okay, cool. So he's at least tapped out. Oh, maybe not. Alright, that Delver's gonna get shot, I think. Will he attack me? No. Yeah, let's go ahead and shoot the Delver then. And we're gonna cruise for 4. Not the best, but not terrible. And we have our own Geist with Counterspell backup, so that's pretty sweet, and I guess we're just gonna pass. Try and go a little faster. So preordain, yep. Oops. What's he gonna do with it? Bottom, top. So who has the better board? I guess our board is slightly better. He's got 4 cards. I'm not really in a rush to fight over this Stormbound Geist, so I'm going to wait. Maybe we can draw something good. Our Geists can trade eventually, but we need it to resolve. Both hitting a bunch of lands. Let's go ahead and cycle this now, just so we have an idea what we're doing. Alright, I'm going to leave up 5 and I'll cycle that EOT. Because I don't want it to seem like we only have 1 counter. I want him to have the fear. Okay. Cycle. Hey yo, there's a preordain. 2 Geists, we have 8 mana, so we can play 2 Geists and counter something. Still don't even need to do that yet. Let's do this first. Preordain. I'll keep 1. I don't really want to preordain 3 times. I guess it's fine. He's going to actually counter that. Okay, he's got 5 cards and 5 mana up. So I'm still just going to wait. We can do our big flashy play next turn. Especially if he decides to blink and use some mana. Alright, so he's got 30 seconds on us, so we want to kind of chill. Let's cycle this now. I need another counter. Ooh, that's good. That is another counter. So we can fight over one of these, but he still has 6 cards. Mental note. So should I fight him right now? I think it's okay. I'm going to tap him out on his turn, possibly, so we can get some Geists and then get aggressive. He's going to counter. Now he has 3 fairies. So I still think we fight him, though, because we want to get these Geists out. And if he fights now, we can get at least 1 guaranteed. Maybe 2. So he's like, I have 1 counter left. Do I use it now? And if he doesn't, we get a sprite. He doesn't, and he doesn't get a mental note. So it's not even that relevant. But the plan is to tap him out as low as possible so we can get some Geist down and start attacking. And we use this arrows on our own Geist, and then we actually have a virtual like extra Geist on top of it, so it's fine. So it looks like he's letting this resolve, and now he's going to do something crazy. Alright, so yeah, we got a lot of options here. We could start with Treasure Cruise, but I think we want to fight with Geists. At least 1 is going to resolve. Ooh. Do we dare do another one? He seems like he's got nothing. Why would he let all of that happen? Why does he give us 2 Geists? I don't know, but It feels like he has nothing, so I'm just going to play Treasure Cruise. I think we're calling his bluff here, but I don't see how he would have nothing. I have no cards. Wow. Awesome. I'll play my land. Snapping. Oh. No thanks. Oh, that's why. Makes sense now. We want all this stuff. We want the Curse of Chains to get his Geist. So I'm going to take the Delver now. And things are looking pretty great. We got a huge Air Force. I don't know if he can deal with a... Okay. Never mind. He can deal with a board like this. So he must have just drawn that. Ooh, that was nice. But we also get to curse his Golem. I think he's actually flooded. Let's see if this works. So then we can start... Oh my god. We're going to be able to attack him for a huge amount of damage next turn. So that's great. F6. Except the Delver won't flip because it's an island. That's alright. Oh man, he drew another one. Son of a gun. So if I attack with everything, what happens? He half kills a Geist. Two of the Geists trade. I think we can wait a turn because we basically get 2 3/3s. Maybe it's time to attack because the clock is ticking for us. So we have to decide right now. If we send in both Geists, he kind of loses one. That Spire Golem really puts a hole in our plan, though. I think I'm just gonna pass. It's so bad. And maybe that was wrong. Maybe if I attack with absolutely everything, we get in for enough damage. If the Delver flips, I'm a little more interested in attacking. Oh god. So if we attack with all these, he can block this and block this, take 4. He loses that. And he probably puts that... We probably lose a Spell Stutter Sprite. Yeah, I'm going to start attacking. I might even send the Delver. I'm going to start attacking. We're going to see what happens. I'm feeling a little froggy. So it's time to leap. This could be wrong. Okay, interesting block. Interesting block. Okay, so we lose our Golem. We could keep his... I think it's too late, right? I already assigned that. Okay. So I don't know if that was right. We lost 2 guys. He lost a guy and a half. Our board is still pretty good. Ew. Good lord. Alright. We are not looking good. We use up our arrows. Is he going to attack me with Stormbound Geist? We used up one of our Curse of Chains. And now he wants to race. Kind of. Yeah, we want to reveal that. Do we want to get 2 3/3s? Do we want to just upgrade our guys? It seems so wasteful. Like, if we can get a Treasure Cruise, a Bone Splitter, something, like, we would be in good shape. But right now, things are looking kind of bad. Ooh, that's a good one. Not going to do anything yet. That Snap's going to kind of go EOT and try and, at some point, and try and get his Golem off the table. Then we can whack him for a huge amount. don't think we need more lands than 10, so I'm going to pass. Yeah, he's got a whole minute on us, so this is going to be really crazy. He drew something because he's thinking about it. I hope he thinks about it for 2 minutes so that we can get a time advantage. If he attacks, we'll double block the Geist with our Geists. He could attack with all of his guys too, but then we get a counter attack. That's kind of what we're looking at now. This is interesting. I don't want to fight over it just yet because I want to try and snap his guy and make him blink. But that assumes he doesn't draw something amazing. Like, where are all his mental notes and stuff? He's got 17 cards, so maybe that's what he's worried about. I don't think we have to move just yet. I think we can wait one more draw step at least. Thought scour me. Okay. Bone Splitter. He got my Bone Splitter. No! You son of a gun. Well, that's a nice little trick to have up our sleeve. I think we're going to wait. I still think we're going to wait. He might mill. Like, he has to do something. That's fine. We have the charm for it. Do we want to start fighting now? I think we'll wait one more turn. So we're going to fight on our turn? Is that what we're saying? We can block a Delver. Do we want to stop on his upkeep? Yeah. Let's see what happens here. We have a little bit of leeway. So we can do this before he even flips. No, we can't. So he flipped on Treasure Cruise. So now we have some things we can think about, like we can snap this. I don't actually think that's even necessary. We're at 15, it's fine. The problem is time. His problem is he has 14 cards. Our problem is he has 2 Spire Golems and he has a minute more than us, so that is a problem to me. Ooh, okay, so now we start fighting over stuff, I think. We will do it next turn, though. I'm ready to go for broke, so not really go for broke, but that Piracy Charm is going to be useful in pumping, I think. Alright, so now I think we're going to go for a snap on you. Because that's the arguably most devastating. He's got 7 cards in hand. 13, I mean, we haven't seen any counters. 1 counter in the yard. Ooh, he let that go. He's got to have something. He's not too worried about that, it seems. So now he discards. I'm just going to start throwing... I'm going to throw everything I got at him and see what happens. Wow. Is this really happening? So why don't I just attack with these 3, and I can Piracy Charm if he blocks with the Spire Golem. Seems like he has nothing. Am I just out of my mind? He's going to fight that. I have the 1 counter. So this got all messed up. This is not good. This was actually pretty stupid. What is he snagging? That's fine. Okay, so he doesn't get a Sprite. We get in for 2. We get a 3/3. We try and replay this. So that was his only counter, but he does have Treasure Cruise. He has a minute on us. Yeah, that's actually going to resolve now. He's going for the Treasure Cruise. I'm going to F6. I can't do anything. My Air Force could get crazy, but he's still got pretty good blocks. If these both flip, I think maybe I attack. We're at 14. He's got 10 damage. Is he going to cruise again? Look at all these lands. He's got 11. I've got 11. 2 lands in hand. Charming. What did he just do? Wait, what did he just do? He charmed himself? Oh, to give it Island Walk. Oh, so he's gonna ninja me. Okay, so if my guys flip, we have a pretty strong attack. He's at 8 cards. I'm at 17 cards. He's another Geist. So maybe I don't have a strong attack. No. So my attack is not very good. I'm just gonna throw this. It resolves. So now it's a clock war. That's not looking very good for us. But he's got 7 cards, so I think his 7 turns will happen before our 5 minutes will happen, right? So he's a little more on the clock. I'm just gonna F4. He might actually mill out. If he's only playing 3 Spire Golems, I think we've got them all, right? That's if he's only playing 3. I don't think he can do anything to us. No. Do I even need to show that? I guess we might as well play it. Will we mill him out is a big question. My board is insane. Once these guys flip, it will be nuts. I guess he has 2 cards. Okay, he's got 4 cards. That is going to resolve. We only have 1 fairy on the board. So a few things that can happen is if he has a bunch of Thought Scours, he might be able to get us. I don't think he can get us. He's deciding, like, how should I attack? What should I do? Well, I'm going to block all day long. No. 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 I'm just going to hold my land. He might attack with everything next turn, but that doesn't even work well for him. We're bound to flip. He has... Oh, we win the match. He has no win conditions. He can't get through. So we actually win our first match in a long-ass time in a daily event. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you later. We'll talk to you for round 2. Hey guys, we're here in round number 2. We are on the play. We've kept this 6-land hand on the play because of this Ponder. The previous hand had 1 land as well, but only 2 Delvers. I think it had a Cloud of Fairies and 2 Spire Golems. And it had something else that was expensive, so I didn't keep it. But this one has a Delver on turn 1, which is still great, and a Ponder. Ooh, a red deck. Flame Slash, no! Looks like it's a control deck. We're going to have to Ponder to find a land. We'll see what happens. This is looking scary. Flame Slash. Why are you playing M15 art, man? Come on, have some self-respect. Alright, we're just waiting for our opponent now to let us Ponder. Please let me do it. Please, please let me do it, man. That turn 1 Flame Slash was very rude. Well, at this rate, if every turn takes him this long to respond, he might time out. But probably just got some other things going on his end of the world. His or her. We're going to default just say his. That doesn't mean I believe that all my opponents are male. Alright, so we have some lands. I think we have to keep this just by virtue of the fact that we have lands. So I don't know. I don't think it matters what order we put it in. We're probably not charming anything unless he plays Delver. Then we might. We're not going to charm him, really. So there's no real point. Okay, that's no surprise. He's just going to show us what he's got now, huh? So I guess I'll just F4. Yep, that's no surprise either. So we'll play our land out. I don't think we need to play a Spell Stutter right now. I think we can EOT that bad boy. I doubt he's going to burn us. Let's see if he goes for like a Delver or something. Or even a Preordain. I don't think they really play Preordain, do they? At one point they did, But, I mean, there's many variants of this deck. Man, I like this art. Christopher Mueller or Moeller. He has good Ravnica art pretty much across the board. Okay. So we're going to try this. I mean, we may eat an Essence Scatter or a Mana Leak, but that's fine. We're building up our graveyard and doing all that good stuff. So next turn we have Spellstutter Sprite, and he's really tanking on this one. I mean, yeah, it makes sense because if we untap and ninja him, he's going to have to decide what he wants to do. Worst case scenario is we untap, play a fourth land, ninja him with this, and then when he tries to kill it, we can replay the Spellstutter Sprite. So, yep, he's going to let us have it though. And we're just going to attack. I think that's all we're doing. Yep. Now we have some leeway because we can counter a counter. Maybe. We don't really have a lot to fight him, so things are looking kind of bad. Okay, so I'm going to try and sprite this now. I guess he has counterspell up. I think we'll actually wait. We're going to try and get him to counter the Piracy Charm. Our board cannot handle a Delver right now, so this Piracy Charm's not going to get much better than that. We can't pump anything with it yet. So I think it's probably correct to bait this, and then if he counters, we can sprite his counter, but then he probably burns the sprite. It's worth a try. Our hand is not very good against his deck. But I have faith. It's possible to beat this matchup. I've seen it happen. I've made it happen. Yeah, this guy's gonna time out. I have a feeling at his pace of play. Note the difference. He's like, can I afford to let Delver die here? Of course you can. You're a control deck. You're going to the late game. You don't care about your first Delver. Wow. Well, we're going to try this. Like I said, he has a good chance of being able to kill our Spellstutter Sprite. Oh, do I have to do this? Of course I want to counter the counter spell. Yes, yes. Well, that's great. And now we have a snap to potentially counter something else. We can counter his Mole Drifter. That would be a pretty big game. Let's see if he does that. Right now our clock is really irrelevant. Please play a Mole Drifter. I don't want to see this Seagate Oracle business. That's fine. You know, it's a smart move. It's a smart move. I agree with that line. I don't know how I feel about countering the Piracy Charm. Seems a little odd to me. I'll just pass. Okay. Let's do this. We need to progress our game. And this is one of the only ways we can do that. He's got 4 cards. Yeah, so we can... yep, I like all... Well, I don't know if I like this because he can just counter it. I like the counter spell. I don't think I like Cloud of Fae, actually. So this is at least a clock. It's not a very relevant clock, but it is at least a clock. 5-minute advantage, time advantage, so that's great. And he's about to... If we can draw an untapped land, we can at least fight over his Mole Drifter next turn. Because it looks like he's waiting for... He's essentially waiting for counterspell backup on that Mole Drifter. Yep. Ponder. So he's playing Ponder, not Preordain. He's got some fetches. Ponder works well with Delver. I think Ponder is an overall robust card to begin with. So it makes sense. Top, top, top. Does not shuffle. Delver. Well, I'm going to have to let it go. I'm not really interested in fighting over that. Again, we want to draw an untapped land here. I may actually snap it. That puts 5 in our yard. We could have snapped the Spell Stutter sprite. I didn't think about that. I guess we can snap it later. Okay, yeah, we'll just hold it. Another preordained. Kind of wanted that to be an island, but that's okay. He has 3 cards in hand, so not entirely scary, but definitely we're afraid of him going over the top of us right now. We need to build a crazy board position, and so far we haven't had any tools to really do that. So I probably should have put Snap on that Spell Stutter sprite. It seems like he somehow doesn't have any other burn, or if he does, he's too proud, or he's saving it right now. He doesn't need to use it on a Spell Stutter sprite yet. Our clock on him, on his life total, is not too relevant. So we have a Delver and another Preordain. I really just want lands, man. I mean, Delver is an okay threat, but at this point we're really stuck on lands, and he's about to get Muldrifter Town, so I think we have to bottom both. Find a Golem, but it's not the right time, man. Not the right timing. At least we're getting close to not only Spire Golem, but also Treasure Cruise. So even though we're going to lose this fight over Muldrifter, we can win by getting a Treasure Cruise. And he didn't flip, so that's actually great. So we don't need to do anything. Not that we would have, but just having the information could change things. He's obviously probably slamming. Ooh. I think we fight over this as well. He's got to cast tap 3, so we'll go ahead and fight over this. And we don't need to snap. He's going to counter back, and he's still going to have a counter up, but we can get, at least if we have a land, we can fight for Treasure Cruise. Or for Spire Golem if we have a land. Okay, attack me. Do it. Do it. Do it. Well, I don't know that I want to cast this. I could cast Snap, but I think he would counter it. We could also just cycle this, but I'm going to cast. If he counters it, we get Treasure Cruise. I guess that's the same with Snap too, but I think Snap's going to be more valuable later. That's fine. Really interesting lines, I think, on his part. I'm not sure that I agree. I would love an island and a charm, so we can just continue to press the attack. Okay, we found as many islands as we could possibly want. And now he probably flips. Electrostatic Bolt, just the ticket for killing Spire Golems. And 4 and 3 unknowns. Well, Muldrifter is one of them. Yikes. So yeah, now this is going a little downhill. We're going to have to draw another Treasure Cruise. We're going to have multiple Golems and find a way to fight through his board. So now we're actually taking a lot of damage. He's only got 1 counter available, but he also has that Electrostatic Bolt. So that's a little scary. Ooh, a Bone Splitter's pretty cool. So we actually have to think on this turn, which kind of annoys me. So Bone Splitter lets us fight. He's got an Electrostatic Bolt, so he might actually just throw it at the Spell Stutter sprite. He might also try and counter the Bone Splitter, but then we can deprive, which drops us to only 2 open mana, and therefore we can't really afford to play Spire Golem. I think we go for the Bone Splitter. I think it's our best option to lead. If he counters it, we don't fight over it. We just play Spire Golem. Ooh, okay. So now I think we attack him. Even though we're at 13, we can leave one back defensively. He does have the Electrostatic Bolt. Okay, so I can actually snap my sprite and counter that. And then I can also play Spire Golem with Deprive backup. So I think this is the ticket. Oh no, I can't do all that. That doesn't work. I think I'm still going to do this though. This seems a little silly, actually. I didn't think about that. Spell Stutter Sprite obviously costs 2. So we equip there. If I just slam the golem, he can kill it. I think maybe that's okay. I think we put ourselves in a position where we have to play it. Okay, so he takes a trade. He's got 3 cards. Don't know what any of them are. Hopefully they're all lands. How awesome would that be? So we baited out the bolt. We got rid of the Mole Drifter. And we got added value out of our snap, which wouldn't have done much better for us. So it was a fairly good turn. However, the game state is not necessarily in our favor. So it's pretty interesting. If he attacks, we're not blocking because that's a sign that he has like lightning bolt and he's trying to get rid of that golem. But then again, if he blocks, he leaves it back to block. That could also be the case. But we got him in a fairly tricky position. It looks like he's got another treasure cruise though, so I think he's just going to continue to go over the top of us. That wilds filters out for the treasure cruise. Filters out a land. He is pretty low on time, so there's a potential for us to have a really grindy game 2, and then in game 3 he's not going to have a quick enough way to beat us. Whoa, attacking with both. So it probably is a bolt. I think we block anyway. I think I'll take the 2 for 1, and we have Deprive to back up later. So I think I do block. I think it's better than going to 9. I changed my mind. Yeah. Because then we'd be at 6, and then if he has any way to stop Spire Golem, we'd be really, 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 really in trouble. So now we're going to try and race. Here comes Oh, okay. So it's a Spell Stutter Sprite racing, an equipped Spell Stutter Sprite racing 2 Oracles, and he's got 4 cards to our virtual 2 with the, yeah, like I said, with the one we're going to draw. So I'll just equip here and attack. Then I'll play my land. So we're kind of winning the race. The problem is he's got all kinds of burn, but we have this snap and a deprive to stop some of that burn. And Spell Stutter Sprite can only stop a 1 mana spell. So Quicksand's not going to help him here. Alright, we have to fight over this. We have to. We just have to. Now, he's probably got a counter, but hopefully it's a mana leak. Now, we've only seen 1 counter spell. What are the odds? Now he's like, do I do it? Yeah, well, now we're kind of screwed. I mean, yeah, I don't think we have a lot we can do here. So if he tries to burn my sprite, I think I have to snap it. At least try. Because we need to defend ourselves now. It's kind of a sad state of affairs. It's possible if he doesn't play any faster, we could also... game 2 might be grindy enough that he times out in game 2. At the rate he's playing, he's taken up more than half of his clock already. Like, this snap is only getting his guy's value, so I figure we might as well play that. What are you gonna do? So we have to untap and draw Treasure Cruise or Spire Golem. So let's do it. How about all of the above? How about Treasure Cruise and a bunch of Spire Golems? That'd be cool. Well, I think we have to play him. And I think we have to play our land too. We can't attack with this, but we can fight off guys. Though this is obviously getting burned. It's, you know, he's got 2 cards, but he's definitely got a burn spell. Or not. I'm just taking... Oh, definitely block. Okay, so he's clocking us where we got 5 turns to do something. 2 cards. Hopefully one's mana leak and one's a land. That'd be great. What does this do for us? Not really much of anything unless he plays out a couple things. So should I charm him here? No. We have to save the charm. I don't know why or what. We could charm his Mole Drifter and it trades with a Cloud of Fae or something. He's probably just going to burn our guy out of the way. And we... Oh my goodness. Wow. That's awful. Okay. Yeah, we're lost here. This game one is not going to work. You know, game one, I don't think we have the greatest matchup here anyway. So, yeah, we're pretty much dead to rights. I guess I'll Piracy Charm him just to see another card. We'll see what we draw. I mean, it's possible we have a blocker. Delver, not exactly what I'm looking for. Yeah, so let's just see one more card. I can equip and block, but we're still taking lethal. Okay, so he must have another counter. Still gonna do everything to run his time down though. Yep. Alright, so we have to stay alive for 10 minutes. Ideally, we want to just beat him with our deck. So that's what we're going to go for. Probe's okay. Bone Splitter is okay. We want to overload him with threats, so things that are not threats. Charm does get the Delvers, but I don't know that that's as important when we're going to be boarding into Stormbound Geist, for one. I think we probably also play Bone Splitter though. Arrows is kind of interesting because it gets us. First of all, it makes his Mole Drifters unable to kill flipped Delvers, and then it also gets us Stormbound Geist again. So I'm kind of interested in that. He has a lot of instants. I think Dispel is actually a pretty strong choice. It stops instant speed burn. You know, he's going to have Pyroblast, but I don't think we want to overload on Hydroblast. I'm thinking maybe one. Probe's pretty good, helping us. Yeah, we want 2 snaps, I think. It's not the greatest ever. I think Hydroblast is probably better than Probe. So we're cutting 1 snap, 1 probe, 1 bone splitter, and 2 piracy charm. We're getting 3 Stormbound Geist, which can really help us. A Dispel and a Hydroblast. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. What is... I guess Bone Splitter helps guys fight into Mole Drifter. But we ideally want to counter a Mole Drifter. But still, I think it's going to be better. Dispel hits a lot of the things that Hydroblast hits. I'm going to try this. We're going to try and overload him with our threats. And we will play first. And we will keep this hand. This hand is pretty rockin'. Oops. See what he does. 2 Delvers and a Spellstutter Sprite to protect. If he leads on a tapped land, it could be pretty vicious. And we have the Stormbound Geist. So this is pretty aggro. He actually just has a Delver of his own. So we can play our own Delver. I want to make sure this flips, though, because I don't want to just eat Electrickery. Ooh. So we can play Delver and Bone Splitter here. That might be interesting. Spellstutter Sprite is going to flash in and stop a burn spell. So that's also interesting. It also lets us set up for Stormbound Geist if we draw a land. But maybe having 2 Delvers is better. It's got to be better, right? This has got to be a better play. In most situations. Flipped on a counterspell, and he's got double blue. So that's okay. As long as there's no red. He's going to leave those up defensively. If we both flip, we can just attack. Oh, he's attacking me. Very interesting play. I don't know how I feel about that. No. At least we get to equip, and we're racing him pretty well. So We can bait out the counterspell with Spell Stutter Sprite, and then once we start getting Geists down, it's going to be pretty awesome for us. So, yeah, very interesting choice for him to attack. I don't think that's correct at all. So now I'm going to Sprite that. So we're going to play Sprite anyway, and we may have just effed him up a little bit. Haha! Take that. So now we get a Stormbound Geist. Our Delvers might flip. I can attack with the Bone Splitter Delver either way. Let's see what he does with this. It looks like he's looking for red. So he's going to have a... oh, I stand corrected. I stand corrected. He must have red in hand and just hasn't played it yet because he doesn't... I think that would have been a good opportunity to play it though. Kind of perplexed by that. Yeah. So I think we send both of these. Actually, I think we send everything. If he wants to kill Spell Stutter Sprite, that's fine. Then we just slam Stormbound Geist. So he probably blocks the Bone Splitter one. And then Geist gives him a bunch of problems. So does Bone Splitter. Okay, go to 12. Get around Counterspell here. You have to deal with our board. There's his red. He's like, haha, I have red. Surprised you. I'm like, what? You're still playing red? You didn't board out of it? Weird. Alright, so we know he has Counterspell. He's got 5 cards. He didn't shuffle. Ooh, just going for the... He's getting... Well, what is this? Is this Fade Away? Or is it Seagate Oracle? Okay, so he's just in desperation mode. I think I would have left up the red so that you can find a burn spell with this Seagate Oracle. That seems a little odd. Wow, so I get another Geist, and I'm clocking him for 6 in the air, so this game is over. I think this game is over. He needs something epic. Yeah, I mean, we could leave up Sprite, but I think it's better just to flood the board here. Much better. I can't think of any Wrath he could have. Doesn't have Threshold or anything, and that card, Swirling Sandstorm, only hits non-flyers, right? So this play is better against the majority of things that he could untap and do. You know, Mole Drifters. Not really gonna save him here. Flame Slash on the Delver. And he has Counterspell. Still have Lethal if I equip. So, what can you do? The only regret is that this game has gone so quickly that he actually does have a chance to win in Game 3. This game has gone too quickly. So he's going to Treasure Cruise, but he's dead to rights. He needs another burn spell. Oh, yeah, I have exactly 7 on you, pal. Without showing you anything else in my deck, I'll just equip and get you with this. 1, 2, 3. Alright, we win. Well, we didn't see very much that would warrant any kind of potential change, I don't think. I think the Stormbound Geists, at their best, are going to deal him a bunch of damage or at least cause a headache. I'm going to be right back, guys. I need to turn on a light in this room. Hello, hello, hello. All right, much better. So, any reason to change out anything? I mean, Ninja's on the draw or maybe bad, but like I said, we really just need to flood him with threats. So I don't think we actually take anything out. I think we leave it like this. Have that Dispel. So on turn 3 we can maybe, or a turn later than we would want to resolve a threat, we might be able to, because we'll have Dispel. And this hand looks really good, so we're going to keep. We can play a Delver on turn 1. He kept 7, so that's interesting, but he's probably killing our Delver. We can flash in Spell Stutter Sprite. That seems awesome. I mean, it's not awesome. That's hyperbolic, but it does kind of bait out a counter potentially if they don't want to get hit with a ninja. Oops. Sorry about that, guys. The Windows key is dangerously close to my fingers. Okay. So he's just going to burn this. I'm going to hold up Spell Stutter Sprite. If he counters it, then we get a Stormbound Geist, which is pretty cool. I think. He may also have Pyroblast, but... And if he pawned... Oh, he missed a land drop. Alright, you going to let us have the Sprite? What do you think about that? What do you think about that? Pretty scary. Ooh, we got multiple Geists. So I guess we preordain now. Actually, we attack first, because if he burns it, we get Geist. We get Geist. Alright, now we want to try and find a counterspell. He missed a land, so if he misses a land for a couple more turns, I'd be somewhat happy. It means he has a lot of spells, but it also means that he's not going to be able to do much. Alright, we want all of this. Top, so I will ponder also. Next turn we're going to go Golem, I think. Ooh. Yeah, this kind of is interesting. Actually, I think we're going to get Sprite next turn. I don't really want to play Bone Splitter this turn, though. So I'm actually going to go like this. And next turn we can fight over Golem, I hope. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. So we're definitely getting a Golem, and then next turn we're either getting a Bone Splitter or a Golem or a Stormbound Geist. Oh, shoot, I messed up. I was forgetting that Spell Stutter Sprite is alive. So now I think he's got a burn spell, so I think I'm just going to try and Sprite the burn spell. We're kind of trying to go next level here. And I think we achieved next level. Next level has been achieved. Achieved. Yep. Whatever level you're on, I think I've just gone to that level that's just above that one. And if he's missing lands, still he probably has a Flame Slash, but that's okay. We have threats on threats on threats. So I'm going to bait with this Bone Splitter, and if he just lets it go, I'm going to equip. But if he counters it, I'm going to play Stormbound Geist. We're just really taking advantage of this land screw. Alright, so we'll just equip. If he burns something, then I'll play another Spire Golem. We have so many options just by virtue of the fact we have more mana than him and so many threats. I might even just play this, but he must be sitting on like Essence Scatter. He might also be sitting on Mana Leak, so I'm just going to make him deal with this. And if he can, then that sucks, but... And even if he can somehow stabilize through these 3 additional threats, he has to beat us in 5 minutes. So I'm feeling pretty snuggly, pretty comfy. Ooh, and now we have a counter spell. That looks pretty great. What could he have from here that's going to beat us? I'm not really sure. We can also just not do anything because that stops him from getting up to Treasure Cruise also. This is 2 turns. I think we probably play Spire Golem though. We're going to want to be playing out these threats. So if he counters, I counter back. I mean, he could have Echoing Ruin for the Golems, and then we have Stormbound Geist, and he has to answer that, so I think this makes sense. I'll ponder. He did have Mana Leak. Ooh, Snap is good. Ninja's probably okay. I think we can keep all this. I don't think we Ninja here. We just leave up Snap for Spell Stutter Sprite, potentially killing a burn spell. This is 7 damage. And he's at 3. So I think we may have this. 3 mana. What can it get you? Echoing Truth and a burn spell. It's just going to pass. Okay, there's a concession. So we win round 2 as well. So we're on a roll here. We just have to win one more match, preferably both. And let's see if we can do that, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope this has been exciting. We're going to round 3. Let's do it.